everybody. My name is Bethany. This is Sparky.
Welcome to Ask a Puppy Show, episode 180.
Yes, and please put your comments below. Include the age and breed of your dog. We only do puppies. This little puppy, Nala, who's chewing on the thing. This little Nala, we had her last week. We're laughing because we had some technical difficulties to get this to you, okay?
But we made it.
All right. So I've got Instagram, so please put your comments down below. You've got Tickety Talk.
I got Tickety Talk. And
we can start with some that have been sent in already, okay? I'm going to start with a comment on YouTube. Why your puppy won't stop nipping you. I just look at this pitiful dog and I'm like, everybody wants this dog. Like, this is the dog that
this is not the dog any of you will get.
I know.
This is a 1 in a million.
Instead of the rap terrier. Okay. Can you advise how, and this is from Ems26, can you advise how and when are the right times to show affection and cuddles without overstimulating them?
This is her jam right here. This is her question.
There's a lot of advice out there about what not to do, but I'm wondering how you find the balance planning ahead for a puppy next year. So basically this person is saying that trainers talk so much about what not to do, but we don't talk enough about what to do. And I get you. I can read between the lines. Okay, so can I start this one?
You can start and finish it.
All right, I'm ready. Okay, so this is your MO. And this is not an easy answer because it requires nuance of thought and critical thinking, which is all the things that I love about owning an animal. Don't reward arousal. Anytime you pet your dog or puppy, it's a reward. So you really want to look at the dog's temperament, their state of mind when you're giving your dog affection. If you want a calmer puppy, then you pet a puppy who's calm. If she was overexcited right now, we would not be petting her. We would be trying to calm her down.
And we just stopped petting her because she started nibbling fingers and biting cord, which means she's getting overstimulating cranky. That's why pets have stopped.
And so you just want to make sure, like, this isn't always true, but most of the time it's true. You get what you pet. You pet a calm dog, you're going to condition your dog to be calmer. You pet an excited dog or a pushy dog. So what do I mean by that? Even a cute little puppy that comes up to you and sits and just puts a little paw on your leg, seems so calm and chill. You pet that, you're rewarding their pushy mentality. I'll just be honest.
They're demanding your attention.
I'm not saying you can never pet that. That is not what I'm saying. My border collie comes over and flips my arm in the air to get pet.
So is my dog.
What I'm saying is that a lot of the time, more often than not, you have to be, well, you don't have to do anything, but we think you have to be.
We recommend.
Strong enough to, bump your puppy up. No, not right now. Not right now. Have a boundary. Come on, people, have a boundary. So that's really what you want to focus on is the energy, the intent that the puppy is giving you. Do you want to reward that intention? Okay, so that's the first thing to take into consideration. The next thing is how you pet your puppy. So, for instance, the way he's petting Nala right now is calm massage. We strongly suggest most dogs, you don't, and I know everybody does this, especially kids, it's a hard thing to teach out of it. You don't do this. Because look what I get. Look. Proof right here.
Instant biting.
Brought to you from the sweetest, most docile puppy ever. Look at this. My thumb is now a chew toy. That's totally my fault. I went in for the head, right? So instead of going for the head all the time, you have a nice calm puppy, go for the shoulder area and just do slow scratchies, neck scratchies, chest scratchies, body massage. Then if your puppy melts into it, they don't get excited by it, 90% of your affection, they should melt into it. Then you could try to go up to the head and do a little ear scratch. Look at that. See if they can handle it. If they can't handle it, stay away from the head right now. It's really simple. It's a genetic thing that all dogs have. When you go at the face, they're like, huh. So stay away from that. If they're really relaxed, they'll definitely let you do it. And then sometimes they just won't. It depends on the puppy. Then if you think your puppy's calm, you start petting them. They get overstimulated. Even if you do it properly, they start nibbling you. They don't want to be pet. They want to be worked with. They want to do things. They want you to teach them how to experience the world properly. So get up off the couch and
Oliver
go.
Husky, Doberman, Rottweiler, Golden Retriever, German Shepherd, Belgian
all of them.
Malinois.
They're mostly all working dogs.
Yeah.
Even the feisty little Malteses. Sometimes
Oh, man, those guys, the most.
Sometimes they have a crazy amount of energy and drive, and the little terriers that people think are lap dogs, they're both. They're little killers and they're little lap dogs. So you gotta have both. And so hopefully I've thoroughly answered your question. I have really resisted the urge to share stories with you because
Just take breaks when you're giving pets. Don't pet until they bite at you. Pet for a set amount of time, and if they're not nibbling at you, but you feel like they're starting to get a bit antsy, pull back on the pets. You're being preventative rather than reactive to the bites.
Yeah, exactly. The only time I would be excited petting is outdoor recalls. Puppy come, yeah, good job, buddy. And then maybe fetch, unless my dog is already crazy about fetch and being a nutcase. I might be more excited with fetch. Yeah, pet, get the toy, yeah. I might do that. But otherwise, it's 90-95% affection is calm. And hopefully that answers your question. And like I said, I resisted about 3 stories I really wanted to tell.
She was not impressed by that.
Because I know. She was like, excuse me, that was...
I'm sleeping here.
All right, you want to do a question?
Yeah, you have all 3
I don't think we have any on there yet.
Thank you, madam.
There you go.
Okay. This is from LAB. My 5-month-old Cockapoo keeps eating her own poo. Cockapoo eating poo. Tried repellent tablets and have to follow him around. Mm-hmm. Well, you did kind of give your answer. You do have to kind of follow him around, but the better thing is use a leash. So you're not following him around, he's kind of following you around. So when you go outside for his morning potty, we don't want to give free access to go outside. We don't want free access to the potty area. And if you haven't gotten a poop or a pee or a poop in the morning, we don't want free access even in your home. You actually want to use some kind of system where you can help him settle in an area. Playpen, his own room, a crate. So then once he's settled, you can get him out of the crate, take him out to a potty area on leash. If your dog already holds it for 2-3 hours and goes to the door and kind of just alerts you, it's not the way we teach it, but you could still use a leash by just clipping on a leash and physically taking your dog outside. The minute they're done pooping, you're gonna call them away from it if they have a good recall. Come, sit, pick up, sorry, can't see. Come, sit, pick up the poop. Good, wrap it up. Treat for recalling back to you, and then walk them back inside, throw your poop away.
How old is this dog?
5 months old.
Okay, so but still a youngin.
Yeah.
In the sense of, if it was an 8-month-old dog, you could also start to add something correction-based. But I don't think at this point I would do that. It's going to be mostly preventing that habit from forming. I have a side note I have to talk to you about later, and I'm gonna give you guys a nugget in case it works. So I have an elderly dog that started to eat poop, and Dakota, one of my rescue dogs, she's always eaten poop, and we've always had to deal with that. And now we have cat poop in the yard, and it's so it's resurfaced. She stays away from dog poop now, but the cat poop.
Cat poop is pure protein. That's why they go for it. It's
so
99%
stop it! Stop talking about poop. So anyway, I've been learning all kinds of things about the gut microbiome, with my baby, and a whole side note. I was like, well, what about for dogs? Because, they're showing that a lot of kibbles are creating anxiety in dogs, just like it is for people and things like that. And I recently came across someone talking about how fermentation, dogs need a certain amount of fermentation in the gut, just like people do, and we don't have enough because who wants to eat sauerkraut? I'm just saying. And I just bought something for the dogs that's supposed to add a certain type of fermentation in the gut that's supposed to help with poop eating. So
what is it?
I don't remember. I'll have to talk to you about it later. But I will let you guys know if it helps my elderly dog and Dakota to stop eating cat poop, and then my elderly dog to stop eating poop. I will let you know.
At what point, though, I feel it becomes habitual.
I agree.
It's got to be habitual.
I agree, but who knows? It
true.
might help.
That's true.
Anyway, I'll keep y'all posted.
Well,
All right.
I guarantee you there's a large market out there who want their dogs to stop eating poop.
Okay, you just basically nicely told me that I'm a sucker for marketing and bought that just to desperately get. That's basically what you just said.
I didn't mean it that way, but now that you said it, I mean it that way. I actually didn't mean it that way.
It's not nice.
But now that she said it, I absolutely mean it that way.
It's not nice.
Can you guys jump to TikTok question? Because
Yeah, what we got?
have a lot of TikTok viewers.
Yay.
Yay! They're like, we couldn't get on Instagram.
Something's going on Instagram.
Lindsay, tips for crate training, 9-week-old puppy cries when I walk away.
Okay, cool.
I gotta
Repeat.
find that
You want me
one.
to do it?
Yeah. I really do.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
really do.
That
What's
was
up?
the most recent one.
Oh, the most recent one? Okay. Okay, Lindsay says, tips for crate training. 9-week-old puppy cries when I walk away. Online school. So what I would do is make sure that you're training crate as a command. So it's not just like I put my puppy in crate and I walk away and that's the only association. 9 weeks old, if they should be able to lure and follow food at this point. You're tossing a piece of food in house. I mean, that's what we call crate. You can say kennel up, crate, whatever you want. But they're going in, following food, they can come right back out. They get comfortable going in and out 10, 20 times. Yes, I'm serious, 10 to 20 times in 5 to 10 minutes. Then you're gonna shut the door. And then they have to wait. You're gonna open the door a couple of inches. And when they kind of like peek through, like I wanna get out of here, you're gonna shut the door. You're gonna teach them that in order to get what they want to come out, they actually have to back off a little bit. And then you open the door. Once they are waiting, fully open the door. Let's go. Piece of food, turn around, go right back in. Do this twice a day, anywhere between 5 and 15 minutes, depending on what your 9-week-old can handle. Some of them can handle a 15-minute training session. It just depends on the breed and the temperament.
And now let's discuss what happens outside of the crate. Because when your dog goes in the crate, yes, you're going to do everything she said, but there's a lot of ways you can hurt or help your puppy to exist in the crate more calmly. What are we doing with our puppies outside of the crate? If we're spending 25 minutes cuddling with them on the couch, petting them like I'm doing here, and I expect her to go right back to the crate, it's going to be really tough. She's overstimulated. She wants to work a little bit or she needs that energy released. When I let this one go, she's going to go get a training session before going back to her crate and a potty. So give your puppy more of what they need, less of what we think they want and what we actually want, which is affection. Break down your free time a little bit more. Walk and play, training. You can give some time in a playpen 10 feet away from yourselves while you're sitting on the couch. 10 minutes in a playpen where she's kind of fussing, moving around, a little bit confused, and eventually she kind of plops on her dog bed and pulls up a little toy and starts just gnawing on it. 10, 15 minutes of that. She's actually gnawing on my shoe. That was the toy she found. And then I'll put her back in the crate. And yeah, you're still going to get crying. You're still going to get fussiness. But with everything she told you to do and giving a little bit of training before putting them in the crate, and existence work is training as well, they're going to settle that much quicker because they're more relaxed going in.
And then how's your crate set up? Dark room, white noise machine, covering the crate. There's a lot of things you can do in that regard too. I would highly suggest maybe looking into a program, unless you're super experienced and you already have all this kind of outlined for you, what you want to teach. We have a very good program, as a matter of fact. You can check it out at thepuppyacademy.com. I really like this question. Lucy, are you balanced or positive? Well, not to get into the weeds, but there should be mostly positive in balanced.
Yeah.
But technically, if you want to put us in a box and label us, we're balanced. And I would just like to say that when it comes to puppy training, if puppies are set up with rules, boundaries, limitations, affection at the right time, lots of positive food work and what to do, what not to do, lots of guidance, there's very little correction for most puppies in the beginning. However, a lot of our clients, they just don't know that stuff until a few weeks in and they're struggling. And now they're trying to apply rules, boundaries, limitations. And so sometimes the way that we talk about certain things, it may sound more correction-based because people are already struggling because they didn't start the way that they needed to start, just to be honest. So
there's a backtrack period.
Yes.
If you haven't started with all the things you're supposed to do, by the time you realize that you need to, now you really need to. You have to backtrack and go back to your basics, which will feel like more corrections because there's more shutting the door when your puppy tries to come out and saying no.
Yeah.
It's not a super adversive technique, but it is still technically a no, which is not positive reinforcement only.
Well, for me, that is guidance. I'm not slamming the crate door. I'm giving spatial pressure, which is just communication.
I would say most balanced dog trainers are about 85% positive reinforcement, because 85% of what we do is teaching them what doggies are supposed to do, puppies are supposed to do, and then once they've learned what they're supposed to do, we then set up a situation where it may not be as clear as it was prior. So if they do still make the mistake, we can create some spatial pressure.
Yep.
That's still technically a correction, and then redirect them what they're supposed to do and eventually reward them for it.
Just so you know, for social media, you're supposed to say 95 to 98% positive. You're not supposed to be fully honest with everybody.
I think it's about 85%. Anyone come, oh shoot, my mic, it's deep. She's been going for it for a bit. You got it?
So let's show how to do that. So real quick, and we'll put her away. When your puppy has something that's dangerous to have, there's no teaching involved. This is not punishment based. You're just very calmly gonna go, and we've shown this before, but go through, fold her little lips.
And it's really hard for smaller dogs. You got to go slow.
Yeah. Over her teeth. She didn't whine. She didn't cry. I'm not pressing her lips down on her teeth, her little sharp teeth or anything like that. But it creates an open reaction, and you can safely get out whatever you need to get out. Goodbye, bored little Noah.
And is that a positive reinforcement only technique? No, that is a balance technique.
Okay.
But look how effective it was.
I really like this question. What is the Gabby? This is such a good question, and it's honestly one that trainers forget to talk about because we're constantly trying to just navigate, the questions in the moment when people are struggling. What is the end result with crate training? At what point do I say, okay, time to allow you more freedom? This is such a nuanced question. It depends on the dog. I personally have 3 dogs. I used to have 4. We're going to go with the 4 because it's relevant. They are all older now. 2 are no longer crated, and 2 are still crated to this day when I leave. Why? Because one has behavioral issues with guarding space, so he needs to be in crate when I leave. The other one had anxiety, and she did better with lots and lots and lots of training.
Dakota.
Happy.
Really?
Little Happy.
I thought Happy passed.
She did. I'm still using her.
Scared me.
I said I have 3, now I have 4. Anyway, sorry, that was a side note. Yeah, my little dog Happy passed, but she had severe anxiety and we worked on for years, and she got to where she did better in crate, not a lot of room to get worked up. So even as elderly dogs, they were still crated, and Dusty and Dakota are out in the bedroom. They do not get the full house. Dakota would be my only dog okay in the full house, but she'd probably start jumping up to get in the trash can and stuff. I'd have to put that away. And Dusty would start looking out the windows at squirrels and get very worked up all day long. And then I try to go on an off-leash hike and he'd be a maniac. So they're still secluded to a room. And so for me, every dog is very different. I think homes are a little too dangerous for dogs to just roam around.
If they're not fully trained and you trust them explicitly, which you never really do.
I still just, I had a German Shepherd, and he went on prednisone when he was older. And all of a sudden he got into things on the cabinets. Never did that for the 3-4 years we gave him freedom before that. Even got him off the prednisone, and now it's a habit, and he was still doing it. So then I had to retrain an elderly dog to be in the bedroom instead of the full house.
My dog jumped out of a window 3 months ago.
Which is crazy. 12
years old, bad back and hip issues, jumped out a 9-foot window just so
the
she could...
The most well-trained service dog you've ever seen.
We'll see now. But she only did it knowing that everything else was gated and she couldn't get out anywhere else, so she could sit in the front gated area and wait for me to get home from work.
So and then there's a thing going around on social media right now of the young famous pit bull that got his head stuck in a chip bag, and it was only for a few minutes while the owner was out of the room. So that passed away. It was a very famous bully breed on Instagram. So my point is just that it is our personal opinion that just a free roaming in the home is just a little dangerous. So we getting a dog comfortable in a room if they're able to do that But crating throughout a dog's life is still really valuable when you travel, especially if you travel. Airbnb people do not want your dogs roaming around their place whenever you
And
go
it's
to
usually
lunch.
in your contract that they can.
Yeah. And so anyway, for me, that's my viewpoint on it, is that I want dogs that are always able to be put back in crate if needed through different stages of their life. Typically, though, we say, get through adolescence, which is going to be 1.5 to 2.5 years old.
As we go through this training program, like Puppy Academy, the physical store, we have 4 lessons. And by the 3rd lesson is when we're actually telling people to start increasing the amount of place duration they're doing.
Yes, when
because
you're
their
home.
dog is already very comfortable with it and still supervised. But that's where, when people ask me, how do I move away from the crate? I say, what's your dog's personality? Are they anxious? Are they nervous? Because I wouldn't ever really move away from the crate unless that changes significantly later on with a lot of training.
Sorry, just to be specific, we're talking about when we leave.
Yes.
When you're home, it's different. We'll get to that.
When your dog is more confident, it just creates different issues. They're more exploratory. They're always looking for stuff. So when you can trust your dog to be out of the crate multiple hours when you're home, and now they're like 10, 11, 12 months, a year and a half, 2 years old, and you have a more mature dog, this is when we start advising to try it out.
Yes.
And then it's less management and less guidance while you're home to see if they're still testing boundaries. If they are when you're home, they're going to do 10 times that when you leave.
Yes.
This is what we're figuring out. We're conditioning our dogs, and then we're trying to understand how far it's gotten.
And you got to understand that when they have a little bit of age and maturity on them, and you correct them for something, of course it depends on their drive and their temperament, but in general, it lands better.
And it lasts longer.
Yeah, if you're trying to correct a 7-8 month old puppy to stay away from the computer area, where the trash can, where you got a trash can or something, or just anything, like they're just, laying on cords or chewing on cords, whatever the case might be, they're going to rebound through, getting in trouble, but very potentially, and they're much more likely to build a resiliency to whatever it is that you're trying to do. Same with dogs that counter surf and things like that. So lots and lots of structure, guidance, dragging a leash around the house when you're there, supervising them to teach them what they can and can't do. But we're waiting till that 1.5 to 2.5 year mark to really challenge them more and set stronger, firmer boundaries after giving them all this great prep and guidance. I mean, think about a 1.5-year-old or a 2-year-old little kid running around your home. What would it sound like if you didn't baby-proof things? No. I actually still kind of sounds like.
Ow, 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 ow.
Yeah, and so it's really important. I can only teach so much around my stove area. My kid still has to be supervised that young. Well, that's what it's like having a puppy. So you really just want to set them up to succeed till they have the ability to put more together and it kind of have more of a lasting effect. Otherwise, it's like a 3-second rebound rate. Okay.
When do babies learn to walk?
We can walk anywhere between.
Like just stand and move.
Anywhere between, we'll stand 8-9 months on the early end, 1.5 years on the later end. Why?
That's your puppy when they start exploring.
Yeah.
It's like a 1-year-old learning how to walk, and now all of these surfaces that are 1.5 feet above where they normally were are all risky. Yeah. That's your dog's paws on the stove, things like that.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Sorry, no. I think I've got some more TikTok ones that we can answer. If I can, guys, I like to prioritize you guys that are here.
TikTok, gotcha.
Yeah, tickety-tock.
Would a 6, almost 7-month golden benefit from the puppy training? I'm guessing they're talking about our program.
Our program.
Yes, they absolutely would. 6 to 7-month-old dog, absolutely could. When they reach about a year old, that's where the personality starts changing. We have had people join at that age, and it's just the advice is a little bit different from what we're giving to most of the people. That's the only difference.
But the basic videos for teaching are sound for that age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can use it for any dog, really, even adult dogs. You're just not going to get the advice you get on Wednesdays. It will be a little bit different.
There's a couple of new ones that just came in.
Okay.
Scroll down.
Elizabeth says, golden retriever, 14 months old, so calm in crate, doing great, out of control, out of crate. Is it okay to keep on leash? When
Absolutely.
you need to at this age.
recommend it.
And retrievers are nutty. They just are. Especially at that age, they can get very mouthy all over again and they can drive you insane. So when that dog is out of crate and you're supervising them, absolutely have them drag a leash around so you can immediately intervene without physically grabbing the dog, which you want to avoid.
I want to go a step farther than that. Golden Retrievers are my bread and butter. I train probably a good chunk for service animals. When I'm teaching young Golden Retrievers just how to exist with their owners, because that's what I do for service animals, and that helps a lot when they're puppies, learning how to exist with their owner, have the leash tethered to your hip and have your treat pouch on the other side of your hip. Anytime you stop, that's normally when your Golden Retrievers can start jumping up, looking for things to get into. Train them. The minute I stop, I'm already reaching in my pouch, asking for a sit, and you're going to reach first for food, then give the command because your puppy doesn't understand it fully yet. And once you can get that sit, good treat, every couple seconds, good treat, you're helping them to exist, you're going to move to a new area, let's go, and I'll just move to a new spot. And then eventually it gets so easy that when you stop in a new area, your dog will automatically sit. Then you can start marking your good, then reach for your food and pause, and then give the reward. So you're actually teaching calm and the ability to follow in your home.
And I actually just want to make one point. The energy he's giving you and he's explaining it for a Golden Retriever would actually be the energy he'd probably have. Good. Let's go.
God,
Good.
that's such a good point. I'm just tired, so that's my energy now, but yeah, she's right.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's, sit good! We're getting jumped on. So yeah, neutral, stern energy.
One little thing, as Lucy makes a comment, she asked us about the positive and balanced. She said, we didn't work on resource guarding at first. Now we're having to deal with it. We're having to do corrections. I will have to say, when it comes to food and puppies, it's tricky. There's a lot that is a genetic component when it comes to resource guarding with dogs. What you really want to, and I'm not really talking to you, Lucy, I'm just using your comment to
generalizing you.
To kind of address everybody, because it's a good comment. It's a good observation. Is that I just kind of want to give everybody the advice when you just have a puppy in general, and you don't really have to work on resource guarding necessarily. But what you do need to work on is calm around food and boundaries around food, whether you're eating or fixing food, even going in the kitchen, as well as prepping your own puppy's food and having them wait for food, and just that respect around food in general, and trying to get that calmness, which is tricky because we're training for food and building focus. But when it comes to the food bowl and people eating and the food bowl with the dog, it's a little bit different. Sometimes you just do that and you're good to go, but you see any signs of quicker eating when you're around or freezing up, when there's a food bowl present, that does mean you need to get on top of it right away. So I guess kind of my point is, Lucy, you may have not done anything wrong necessarily. You just, even if you did all the calm stuff, you just might have a dog that genetically is predisposed to potentially being more of a resource guarder. That happens sometimes, even if you do everything right.
If you feel like you're not equipped to handle this, don't join an online training program. Don't do any of that.
Well,
you need to get one-on-one private training in your home.
I think she is. But
is she?
Yeah,
Okay,
my
so
trainer
she-
said that too. They need to learn to
cool.
exist with you.
Didn't see the
Cool.
second part.
All right, awesome, Lucy. All right, guys, that's it for today.
Wow, that went fast.
Yeah, I did. All right, thank you guys
fast.
so much, and we will see you same time, same place next week.
I was cuddling with puppies the
next
whole time.
week. Next week. Don't let me forget, Ricky. Next week, we're going to address some holiday tips for people coming over when you have your puppy.
yeah.
So don't miss it. Bye.
It's our holiday special for puppy training.
What not?